I think the highest profile race that we had in southeastern Wisconsin is the election for Congress to succeed Jim Sensenbrenner, and not surprisingly. There's only 8 congressional districts in the state. It takes up a big chunk of our listening area. It's big Republican country, and it's our first chance to elect a congressman other than Sensenbrenner. How long has Sensenbrenner been there? I believe Sensenbrenner held the Bible when John Adams was sworn in as president. I think Sensenbrenner has a sense of humor, but he actually prides himself on his longevity, don't you think? Yeah. There will be a general election in November, and the district is not a slam dunk for Republicans. It is a staunchly Republican district, but one that you can't take for granted. Tom Paulsowitz is the Democrat. He's running with a fair amount of backing behind him and so on, but the winner of the Republican primary very likely is going to win the seat in November. And there was this election between one of the better-known Republicans in the state of Wisconsin, Scott Fitzgerald, the longtime state Senate Republican leader, and he was opposed by a guy named Cliff DeTemple, who's a business owner from the northern part of the Lake Country. I indicated in my commentary on this I wasn't going to give a suggestion one way or another on who to vote for because I thought both candidates were worthy. However, as I kind of made clear yesterday, everybody knew that Fitzgerald was going to win. His name recognition dwarfs DeTemple's. Furthermore, most Republican voters, I didn't say Democrats, but most Republican voters think generally positively of Fitzgerald through the long, he's been the Republican leader in the Senate forever. And this was the group that did such yeoman work in getting through Act 10, right to work, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he's been, from the perspective of most things, I think, conservative and responsive. And I think most voters have a pretty strong opinion of him, and he's positioned himself in running as being a conservative member of the House of Representatives. So there wasn't a real reason to vote against him. On the other hand, Cliff DeTemple is exactly what you would want to see in American politics. He's an American citizen. He's an extremely well-informed guy with strong points of view and a commitment to serve. The problem that he had here is when you're somebody who is a first-time candidate for a large office like Congress, and you've not been in public office before, it's not that not having been in public office is a disqualifier. It's that just fewer people know you, and they have, not only do they not know you, you haven't had a chance to prove to them what a great elected official you are. So if you don't know him through his business or from being in the community and so on, what would you really know? If everybody running is a first-time candidate, it becomes a wash. But that wasn't the case here. So DeTemple was taking on a Herculean challenge and taking on Scott Fitzgerald. And I don't think he ever really had much of a chance, but I think everybody who watched his campaign was very impressed by him. I just hope he doesn't bow out of politics. Your first run for office, he decided to make it for House of Representatives, but there are other guys like him. This is the sort of person we need in the state legislature, or we need we need on local school boards or the village board or any number of other offices that are out there and I understand if you're a business owner, you don't have time to take off unless you're moving for another full-time major gig like a member of the House of Representatives is, but I think everybody was positively impressed by the campaign that he ran and how he conducted himself and his knowledge of the issues and his decency as a guy and et cetera. And I just hope that after losing a race like this, and he got clobbered, Sensenbrenner won big, that isn't the end of his political career.